Nimakhatalsın. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Yashodanandana Rachachana Ranchana Yashodanandana Rachachana Ranchana Yamunati Ravanachari Yamunati Ravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Chanavalabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Rachachana Ranchana Yamunati Ravanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Shri Radhe. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Radha Madhava ki, Shri Prabhupada ki, Harinam Sankirtan Yakya ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hare Krishna. You speak English or German better? Okay, so the class will be in English since so many devotees speak English here. Maybe someone can translate in German. Sanjay Prabhu, you want to translate? Kishorikun braucht Übersetzung. Tina, Eva. Oder vielleicht jemand von den Matachis gerne übersetzen könnte, möchte. Okay, Samira übersetzt. Super. Wir lesen aus dem Srimad Bhagavatam, dem ersten Kanto, zweites Kapitel, Vers 17. Oh, English. Yeah. Chapter 2, first canto, text 17. Divinity and Divine Service. Just thought about what can I speak, since Kripasindu was supposed to speak actually, but he has an online class with Param Shreya Prabhu. So I can speak today about Sankirtan. Very nice. So I thought, which verse can I choose? And I opened the Bhagavatam, the second chapter, and then I remembered these nice verses. And then, decided for this verse today. It's about hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, or hearing in general. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna. Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna. Punya Shavana Kirtanaha. Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Ridyantasto Hyapatrani Ridyantasto Hyapatrani Vidonoti Suritsatam Vidonoti Suritsatam Shinmatam Svakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Ridyantasto Hyapatrani Vidonoti Suritsatam. Please chant. Shinvadam Svakata Krishna
Srimad Svakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridayantasto Hi Abhadrani Vidonoti Suritsatam.
Matajis. Srimad Svakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hidyantasto Hyapatrani Vidonoti Suritsatam. Srinvatam. Those who have developed the urge to hear the message of Svakataha, his own words, Krishnaha, the personality of Godhead, Punya, virtues, Shravana, hearing, Kirtanaha, chanting, Ridi Antastaha, within one's heart. He, certainly, Abhadrani, desire to enjoy matter. Vidunoti, cleanses. Surit, benefactor. Satam, of the truthful. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, supersoul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki. Messages of the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, are none different from him. Whenever, therefore, offenseless hearing and glorification of God are undertaken, it is to be understood that Lord Krishna is present there in the form of transcendental sound, which is as powerful as the Lord personally. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his Shikshastaka, declares clearly that the holy name of the Lord has all the potencies of the Lord, and that he has endowed his innumerable names with the same potency. There is no rigid fixture of time, and anyone can chant the holy name with attention and reverence at his convenience. The Lord is so kind to us that he can be present before us personally in the form of transcendental sound, But unfortunately, we have no taste for hearing and glorifying the Lord's name and activities. We have already discussed developing a taste for hearing and chanting the holy sound. It is done through the medium of service to the pure devotee of the Lord. The Lord is reciprocally responded to his devotees. When he sees that a devotee is completely sincere in getting admittance to the transcendental service of the Lord and has thus become eager to hear about him, the Lord acts from within the devotee in such a way that the devotee may easily go back to him. The Lord is more anxious to take us back into his kingdom than we can desire. Most of us do not desire at all to go back to Godhead. Only a very few men want to go back to Godhead. But anyone who desires to go back to Godhead, Sri Krishna, helps in all respects. Who wants to go back home to Godhead?
Not really.
Not that many, actually. Yeah, it's true. Prabhupada speaks always the truth. One cannot enter into the kingdom of God unless one is perfectly cleared of all sins. The material sins are products of our desires to lord it over material nature. It is very difficult to get rid of such desires. Woman and wealth are very difficult problems for the devotee making progress on the path back to Godhead. Many stalwarts in the devotional line fell victim to these allurements and thus retreated from the path of liberation. But when one is helped by the Lord himself, the whole process becomes as easy as anything by the divine grace of the Lord. To become restless in the contact of woman and wealth is not an astonishment, because every living being is associated with such things from remote time, practically immemorial, and it takes time to recover from this foreign nature. But if one is engaged in hearing the glories of the Lord, gradually he realizes his real position. By the grace of God, such a devotee gets sufficient strength to defend himself from the state of disturbances, and gradually all disturbing elements are eliminated from his mind. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatam Aham Bande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapidam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Chagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshware Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhyo Vacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Alia, Prabhu, da ist Übersetzung in Deutsch, was du brauchst. Oder sprichst du Englisch? Ja. Ah, okay. Ah, du möchtest Deutsch sprechen, deswegen du fragst mich immer Deutsch zu sprechen. Speak English, gut. Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtanaha Ridyantasto Hipatrani Vidonoti Suritsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Param Atma, super soul, in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtues when properly heard and chanted. So what is happening if we properly hear and chant the glories of the Lord? What is happening to us?
Wir
yeah, like it says in this verse, in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of truthful devotee cleanses the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his messages. So, because we're all sitting here today, we're all getting cleansed in our heart, and we will be able that at one point we can experience the presence of the Lord in our heart. In the 9th canto there's also a similar verse where it said, whoever is eager just to hear the glories of the Lord, so not even to come to Bhagavatam class, but even to be eager to come. You want to hear about the Lord. The Lord is so pleased that He cleanses you from all material desires, for all attachments, and He will take a seat on the lotus stem of your heart. So Krishna, He wants to enter our hearts. He's already there, but we can't really invite Him or experience or see Him because of our material desires. So sometimes we see devotees very advanced, crying in ecstasy, rolling on the ground, chanting wonderful kirtan, giving wonderful classes, whatever they do. And sometimes you see them crying, and you will see, wow, this devotee is so advanced, he always cries in kirtan. But Prabhupada said this is not a sign of advancement. How many times you saw Prabhupada cry? There are few occasions, yes, but most of the time you didn't see Prabhupada cry. Does that mean Prabhupada was not advanced? No, Prabhupada says somebody who has no desires to exploit the material nature, who has given up the urge for sense enjoyment, he is advanced. Because in this state, you can always chant the holy name of the Lord. And you're also very eager to hear the glories of the Lord. So first, we have to come out of our tamaguna, of our rajaguna, come into more sattvic state of mind. But even sattva guna is very tricky. To become happy, everything is fine, you're full of knowledge, you're better than others. It's also the bondage of the brahmanas is sattva guna. So it's also not perfect. It's also a material contamination. But it's better than the other material modes, of course, because from sattva guna we can understand certain values. Ananda Krishna spoke yesterday about the laws, that not stealing, not murdering, and so on, not speaking bad about others. Shri Singadev Bhagavan Ki Chai. And I thought about that, but actually that's not laws. Like we follow the laws of the state, and we want to be a good citizen and follow all the rules and be nice and kind. But actually this is more moral principles. So the law actually is important in one sense, but in different countries there are different laws. But like moral, it's kind of everywhere the same. If you kill someone in each country, it's a big crime. If you steal, if you hurt other people, if you talk bad about other people. So this is actually more moral principle. So sattva guna means, first of all, to develop various principles, like we follow our 4 regulative principles. We don't eat meat, fish, and egg. We do not perform gambling, no illicit sex, and no intoxication. So this alone helps us to come on a platform of sattva guna. So Prabhupada is very genius, because these principles are very brahminical. It's not an easy thing to follow these principles. For us, maybe after some time, it gets more and more easy, or maybe for someone it was not even hard at all. But this is, in the Vedic culture, was followed by brahmanas, few kshatriyas. But as we know, kshatriyas, they did gambling, they were intoxicated. What to speak about vaishyas, shudras, or outcasts, how to say. But that's okay. For example, on this platform of a shudra, it was okay to go to prostitutes, for example. Because in the Vedic culture, you get purified. You engage in sense enjoyment, and after some time, you get over it. How much time you can enjoy the same, chewing the chewed. So you get purified, and in the next life, you take another life form, human form of life, maybe Vaishya or Kshatriya. At one point, you will come to the platform of Brahmana. But Prabhupada, he gave us in the West Brahminical principles. Quite amazing. Do not take any drugs. When he came, was the hippie movement very present, and Prabhupada told them, no intoxication. And he followed him. No illicit sex. Gambling maybe was not such a big thing. Meat eating, I don't know, the hippies, maybe they were already more vegetarians anyways. But for the rest of the world nowadays, it's still quite a big thing. They're thinking this Hare Krishna, something is not right with them. What are you gonna do? How do you have fun? No intoxication. When I went to clubs and discos and always intoxicated, and there were always some friends of mine, they were not intoxicated at all. They just came completely without anything, any alcohol, any drugs, and he had fun. And I always thought, like, what is with these people? They're completely crazy. How they can go in a club where everyone is drunk, everyone is dancing, and they're just coming here, sober-minded, without any substances. How can they enjoy the evening? I couldn't understand as a kami. And now I'm a devotee. Now the kamis think the same about us. How can they live? How can they have fun in the world? Without sex, without intoxication. Meat eating, okay, more and more, it's not such a big thing anymore. Many people are vegetarian or try to eat more vegetables and other stuff. Yeah, but it's in the general rule, it's not so easy to follow these principles. I mean, if you go out now in Sankirtan and you distribute these books and you tell the people, this book's about help you to stop sex, stop intoxication, no gambling and no meat eating. Take this book and it will change your life. Probably nobody will take this book because nobody will want to follow these standards. But Prabhupada tricked us. He gave us a higher taste. And this is very nice. We should really appreciate these 4 principles. Because without them, we are lost. It's Kali Yuga. Kali fully manifest. So it's very difficult for people in general to become God conscious. And these 4 principles will help us to regulate our senses, to focus our mind, and of course, chanting of 16 rounds, what Prabhupada gave us. The most important. But yeah, then it's chanting in different modes, Tamagun, always falling asleep, talking about myself now. And then I keep on sitting, but I still fall asleep, then even more Tamagun. But then sometimes I stand up and walk, so Rajaguna, passion. But at least engages in Krishna service, so I don't fall asleep, I can chant somehow. But Sattvaguna would be to sit, to close your eyes, be halfway, spine is straight, body is relaxed, and you're completely focused on the holy name. You go to bed early, you wake up early, you chant your rounds in the morning, not during the day, again Rajaguna. So, even tapasya, we perform all kinds of austerities in different modes. Hiranyakashipu, for example, his austerities were in the mode of tamaguna, rajaguna. He destroyed his whole body. Our austerities, for example, we wake up in the morning, brush our teeth, take a shower, coming to the program. Is it sattvaguna or is it vishuddha sattva? What do you think? Or is it both? Yes.
I think it depends on your intention.
Yes. If we come to the morning program, because the temple president tells us you have to come to the morning program or you can go home, and we do this out of duty, that's fine. And we have also some benefit, but this is still mode of goodness. To perform his duties, to follow some rules. But Vishuddha Sattva, spiritual platform would be, you wake up, you want to go to the temple because you can't wait to see the Lord. You can't wait to chant and dance with the devotees. You can't wait to smell the flower. Maybe after COVID again, we can smell the flowers. Haha. I can. I got it today. Bring it sometimes to my baby and Toshani. Get some mercy. So this is all eagerness, for example, taking this because it came from the Lord. I need to take this, I need to smell it, I need to give it to my wife. This would be the intention for Vishuddha Sattva. Or do we go and eat prasadam to regulate our senses, and maybe we eat less and we try to eat very sattvic and very slow and whatsoever? Or we eat prasadam because we know it's the remnants of the Lord. We know we have no other sense enjoyment, so our only sense enjoyment would be prasad. But with which consciousness we eat the prasad? Do we devouring all the paneer on the plate? Or do we really eat consciously and eat in a state of service that we understand this is a gift of Krishna and this is service to Krishna? Honoring prasadam, we're not saying we're eating prasadam, we say we honoring prasadam. So it should be a meditation. Prabhupada sometimes, he just ate alone. I also experienced for myself in prasadam room, it's really nice and I like the association, and I always eat very long, so I have lots of nice talks and devotee association. But I'm not really focused on the eating, I'm just feasting, and after I'm finished. But if I eat at home, I take less, I'm more conscious, and I try to have more meditative. I don't want to tell you now, don't come to the prasad room and eat at home. Please still come. But we should change our attitude towards how we take our foodstuff to us, our prasadam to us. Pradhanananda Swami recently in a lecture, he said, we don't need any diet, our diet is prasadam. So Ayurveda and everything, we would be completely healthy if we would eat consciously and if we would eat with this understanding that this is Krishna prasadam and we honor this prasad. Because then this prasadam is completely spiritual. It will purify you, it will cleanse your heart, and then also Krishna will enter your heart. And you will have a different experience. Try it out today. When you eat your prasad, eat it very consciously, see this as service, and taste each bite. Sometimes I don't like the prasadam, and then I say, today I don't. But actually you shouldn't. You should always be very grateful this is Krishna prasadam, and you should honor each bite. And then you will feel it even. It's different. Many people, they come here and they eat, and for the first time, or they maybe not so often here, and they eat differently. If you see our place, it's like, oh my God, they're like having like big plates like this. Nobody can eat this. Like outside in the normal world, when I look at the people, nobody eats like this. When you have some programs, and you ask them how much you want, and then you have like maybe 1/3 of that what we eat. Even the Matajis, you also eat a lot. Even though you eat less than the Prabhus. But if you come the first time and you taste prasadam, it's so nice. It's like, wow. Because you're conscious, you're more like, it's something new, it's a different experience, it's some new preparations you never saw before. So you taste it completely differently. But we are so used to it, we just eat and eat and eat. So our movement is so wonderful. Yesterday I said to Ananda Krishna, it somehow stuck in my head, when sometimes devotees, they say, Srila Prabhupada, when he came to the West, he was empowered, he was a Shakti Avesha avatar. He could do all these miracles, he could engage everyone in Krishna's service because he's a pure devotee. But who are we? We are from the West, we have no devotional, what to say, Indian culture or Vedic culture background. How we want to be the saving grace for the whole world. How we want to change the world. Only Prabhupada can do this because he was empowered. But if you think about it, when Srila Prabhupada came, he came with a few dollars, with his 300 Srimad Bhagavatam sets. He had a few heart attacks on the boat, on the ship, on the Chaladuta, when he came to the West. When he came here for 1 year, he had no one. There was no devotees and congregation and temples and everything, prasadam, instruments. He was more or less alone. And almost every day he wanted to go back. Sometimes he went even to the, harbor? No, not harbor. How is it in English? Harbor. Where the ships are. He went there and he wanted to go back to India. But he said, no, I came here for a reason, to fulfill the order of my spiritual master. I have to continue. By Krishna's mercy, somehow I can preach in the English language. And then he was chanting in the New York Times Square Park, chanting Hare Krishna. And suddenly, all these hippies came, chanted with him. Then they met, then he had prasadam, then he opened the temple, some programs, and so on and so on. The rest is history. You can read the Prabhupada Lilamrita. But for Prabhupada, it was not easy. And how old was Prabhupada? He was 69 when he came. Like last time I thought, like, if my Guru Maharaj now, I mean, he's traveling all around the world, but he's also, his body is very old. But Prabhupada, he just came from India, from a land, the winter is different, there's no snow, completely spiritual. He lived in the Radha Damodar temple, chanted in front of Rupa Goswami's Samadhi every day, lived in Vrindavan. In these days, Vrindavan was very beautiful, forest. Now it's, maturely speaking, not so nice anymore. For our consciousness, the Dham is protected, so that so dacoits and material people can't enter Vrindavan, because material people will go there and will only see the chaos, the horns, whack, whack, and the Indians shouting, and rickshaws, and people who beg, and all the swines and monkeys and all so on. But that's not Vrindavan. This is just a material Yoga Maya covered Vrindavan. But the devotee can enter Vrindavan. The devotee sees the devotees. In each pharmacy, even the Baba, everywhere you go, they're all devotees. They have their small little deities and puja. And you go shopping there and they just do the puja in the back. And yeah, everyone knows Krishna. I mean, they are more into Radhe Radhe in Vrindavan. But the Vrindavan devotees, they are very close. They are in the spiritual world. And you can only enter with a spiritual consciousness. Once I was in Vrindavan in Kartik and I was sick. And actually I wanted to make a Sankirtan Katha class, but somehow, anyways, Krishna inspires. So one day I was in Vrindavan and I was sick and I was Kartik. And of course we just finished Kartik, and our Vrata is to offer every day a lamp. That should be from each devotee the endeavor to come here and to offer every day a lamp. If you can't, the first day I didn't offer the lamp, I was offering the lamp in my mind. I was in Vienna and we didn't have the ghee wicks because somebody brought it but we didn't find it. So I was meditating about Radha Damodar, about Yashoda, chasing Krishna, about the picture, and offered my lamp to Krishna. But in that day in Vrindavan, I was so sick and the temple was so full and all these people rushing in. Maybe somebody of you know and watched this second part of The Matrix, and this Mr. Smith, he came in, I don't know, in unlimited forms from each direction. I felt like this, these people came from everywhere and I was just drowning and I couldn't breathe, and I thought, anyways, I will not offer my lamp today. And then I met a devotee, Kalakanta Prabhu, and then he said, hey, what are you doing? Let's offer a lamp. And I said, no, there's so many people. I don't want. I'm sick. I'm fed up. I just want to go home and sleep. He said, no, come on. That's not people. That's devotees. Come. We're going now inside the temple and we swim in the ocean of devotion. He said. And then he said, you need to see it differently. There's all devotees who are offering the lamps to Krishna and you can join them. It's a completely spiritual world. He said, come with me. And I was like completely like, wow. And then I entered the temple with a completely different consciousness. All of a sudden, it was really the spiritual world. Because my consciousness changed from all these people and loud and pushing. And I saw all of a sudden people who are devotees and trying to serve the Lord. And it was so much fun. It's hard to remember, but when I go to India, I always try to remember this incident. Because it's sometimes difficult, because it's really so crowded. It's not like here you can offer a lamp and you stand and you make 4 circles to the feet, 2 to the belly, 3 to the head, 7, then to Mother Yashoda, then you go to Nishingadev, and so on, and you stand here for 2-3 minutes. In Vrindavan temple, you go in and you get pushed on the side, and then you're done. You just can offer maybe like quickly. It's not a meditation like this, but if you change your consciousness, you can enjoy it actually. You swim with all the devotees and see it differently. saw something here I like to speak. The verse was actually about hearing and chanting. And I try to connect it a little bit with Sankirtan now. Because Prabhupada says, what's the use of distributing my books if you don't read them? So Prabhupada, he was very, not upset, but sad that his devotees were not reading his books, especially in the beginning. Was so much to do, so much passion. What helped the movement a lot, but devotees were not studying properly Prabhupada's books. And this is, Rajaguna is never lasting. It schafft Leiden, in Deutsch Leidenschaft. It creates suffering. So if we want to maintain, if we want to preach Krishna consciousness, if we want to participate somehow in this marathon, we have to have the right consciousness, the right intention. We need to have somehow or other Krishna opening our heart. Like the Vaisheshak Prabhu says, we have to distribute the overflow. You can't distribute what you don't have. Of course you can go out there, you can try to distribute books, and you will distribute books, and more you come into the mood, and if you're on traveling Sankirtan, no problem. Krishna will take care. Kripasindu Prabhu, Manindragana Prabhu, they will take care of you. You will go out every day. You stay out for 6-7 hours, no worries. You will distribute lots of books at the end of the marathon, or even in the beginning. But for other devotees, live at home, live at the temple, go out from time to time. It's not so easy. So without having the overflow, if we are not fully charged with love of Krishna, or at least a tiny drop of this love, it's difficult to give this to others. Because you will stay outside there, it will be cold, it will be COVID. People will ask you, are you vaccinated already? You say, no, I'm recovered. Can you prove it? No, I can't prove it, but I'm recovered. Last time they wanted to force me to take a vaccine. You have to get vaccinated. It was like people like free vaccines in Passau. And they were preaching to me, and then you distribute books, we have also a book for you. And I tried to give them books, but they were really stubborn. And then I engaged in a conversation, and I could immediately feel how my consciousness went down. And they tried to preach to me about vaccines. Yeah, but all kinds of stuff happens out there. You see a couple, maybe a brahmachari, and you see, oh, they look so happy. I also want to be happy. Maybe I should change, maybe I should get married. Or you see some nice food on the Christmas market. I told Vito yesterday, one day I distributed 102 books in Heidelberg. And it was one of my worst days. I started. And my mind, I was seeing this langosh, and I didn't eat anything outside for years. And I was thinking about, maybe I should buy a langosh. And like for 2-3 hours, I was meditating about this langosh. It's like kind of a bread, like a fried bread, like from Hungarian people. Of course, I wouldn't buy it, but like my mind wanted to buy it. And anyways, I was standing there at this langosh spot and distributed books. And then it was lunchtime, and I decided to go back to the van and eat normal prasad. But then I was counting the books, and it was on 37 or 38 books, close to 40. I was like, wow, I've already 40 books distributed. And then I was like thinking, actually I can do more. Forget the language, just go out there